Like, what do you already have something planned out for the next 4 or 5 years? Is it evolving on a year-by-year basis, or what are you focused on next?
When you're a recreationist, man, you follow a process. And just so, because people are like, what is recreationism? What is recreationist? Okay, recreationism is an all-inclusive, experience-based practice that merges the mind and body into a progressive life force through daily creative action. So, as a person that works on the 4 pillars, your future literally becomes unknown, because my lifestyle is similar to like the 5 years of a child between 1 year old and 5 years old. Mm-hmm. But it happens every single year for your life. So the reason why a 5-year-old doesn't play with a 1-year-old toy is because they're at a different stage of life by the time they're 5. You with me? So if someone commits to getting their health better every day, mastering their purpose every day, continuing to explore new knowledge every day, and working on their emotional intelligence, similar to what a 5-year or 1 through 5-year-old is doing, even though it's not like intentionally, you may have common interests, but you're just going to be in different stages of that interest as time goes on. So literally, I started off as an author thinking I was just going to be writing, be helping train companies my whole life. That spiraled into the online training program. That spiraled into the play. Mm-hmm. That spiraled into my 2nd book. That spiraled into my 3rd book. Now I'm in the process of about to film my first short film from my production company. It's the name of the production company is 4 Pillars Entertainment. So they are all going to be along the lines of entertainment that helps somebody learn from one of the 4 pillars. But literally, man, I know I'm going to be speaking because I get hired regularly. I know I'm going to be writing because I have 36 titles and I love writing. My Dixon on Demand is on autopilot. People are loving that. I'm just working on my 4 pillars and showing up every single day with those priorities in mind, man. So the main goal is I'm going to be helping our humanity no matter what, because I'm in a sharing mode. So that's the main difference in these 6 years since I stopped selling, is my main priority of life doesn't have to do with me selling. Now my goal is I'm selling people on how to get the best out of their life the best way they know how, based off of what helped me in my world.
Okay. Excellent. It's good to know. So you've mentioned the 4 pillars a few different times, and you've named them a couple of different times. And I'm sure you probably go into greater detail if somebody signs up for your course and goes in and works with you personally on that. But just like kind of a basic level, for each of those 4 pillars, how do you encourage people to work on them? And I'm sure it's a personalized process, but are there particular books or readings or something that you point them to for each of these different pillars, to at least as a basis to start?
Well, the Re-Creationism book is what goes over the whole reason why everybody in the world needs to literally take a step back and start a process of questioning where they are at in their 4 pillars right now. So Re-Creationism, that's the manual that goes through the whole process. But for someone right now that doesn't like reading, that just wants to take anything they can away from this to help them, I truly believe, and you can tell me your true opinion if you have something that's different, be honest. I believe that if we were plants, those 4 parts of our life would be the most important of what determines whether we're heading toward the sun or whether we're heading towards getting back into the ground. Like your health, your emotional intelligence, your hunger to gain new knowledge, and getting better at whatever you do for a living. So for people that are in my audiences, what I ask them to do is to take a moment to grade themselves in each of those pillars after giving a brief description of all of them. So briefly, health, we all know that we're 70% water. right? We all know that sweating is good. We all know that there are organs like the colon, the heart, the intestines, the liver, and the lungs that really self-generate and will self-heal if we do things to help them. So on a scale of 1 through 10, how much are you intentionally putting 70% of things in your body that have to do with water and focusing on sweating daily and making sure that you're helping these 5 organs do their best to continue to thrive, like 1 through 10. Like, let's be honest. Are we living like we're immortal, or are we really taking a step back to see where we are in this health pillar? Emotional intelligence. We're familiar with fear and emotion. We're familiar with love as an emotion. Most people want to do this fairy tale of, oh, you just got to be in love and peace. Unfortunately, unless you go to the Himalayas, you're not going to be in that world. So it's like, how often are you mastering understanding all of the emotions? And when you're getting put down the fear lane, how good are you at putting yourself back into the love lane? Or are you somebody that just by the seat of your pants is controlled by our humanity, which will tell me which is your dominant emotion, which is fear? So 1 through 10, where are you at on that? Hunger to gain new knowledge. Are you the type of person that knows you need to do something, but because of your comfort zone, you just keep doing what you're comfortable with because everybody else doing it? So 1 through 10, how many parts of your life are you familiar with what you need to do, but you allow comfort to stop you from doing it? And then purpose, when you wake up in the morning, are you jumping out of joy to go to work? Or are you somebody that's literally punching a clock? And your most creative time is when you punch out. Are you somebody literally that your most creativity happens when you are away from work and on the weekends? And if that's so, how productive do you really believe you're going to be when we're reading your eulogy? Like, seriously. Like, honestly, like, let's really be honest with ourselves. So those are, and I ask people to grade themselves 1 through 10. And then once we figure out what the lowest pillar is, let's focus on that lowest pillar, because what people do in this human-based world is they want to focus on their strengths, when literally their lowest pillar is what their reason why they're in the deathbed. So I'm like, instead of us like focusing on our strengths like I did for several years, because, you know, I was a millionaire, 30 years old, killing them as far as my sales careers go. But I was in this myth, not realizing that if I kept that going, I was not going to be living probably past 45. So that in a nutshell expresses what I believe every listener and every person in the world should do in regards to their 4 pillars. And what's happening real quick is we're putting things like marriage, happiness, car, status, social media likes. We have people that are putting more focus on those things than their 4 pillars, thinking that and thinking that they can really go a long time doing that. Yeah, you may go a year or 2 or 3 or 4, but unfortunately, biology and science says things are going to tumble down slowly but surely if you don't focus on the 4 things that you're made of that don't have nothing to do with tangible accomplishments.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing those details. And so if listeners want to read more on that, then that's the main message in your Re-Creationism book. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Re-Creationism.com. And they can even go up there and find out what their HLG is, which stands for Holistic Life Grade. They get to grade themselves after digging through 40 questions that any person can literally take a moment and be like, wow. And I think every single human is at a space, once you eliminate tangible situations, we got a lot of work to do. And unfortunately, we've allowed things from the outside to blind us from the work that every single human should be focusing on every single day. Plants don't get to a space where they start coming out with their roses and their petals and they're like, ooh, I can chill now. No, every single day they grow at the highest level they can for the rest of their time. And unfortunately, that's not the norm. And Re-Creationism is helping people see, wow, this guy, he's not only talking this, he's living it, and his life is a replicating what can happen. Because literally 4 years in my sales career, after I started following this process, I was #1 sales executive in the world. So I can speak on what happens after you start following this process. And then I just threw it all away and started at ground zero in a whole new world. Now 5 years in, I'm 5 books in, helping people in a whole new process that I wasn't prepared for. So I'm going to help people through my example see, wow, you are able, if you focus on these pillars, you can create things in your life that weren't even thought of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. So with everything that you've done and experienced so far, what would you say has been the best advice that you've ever received?
To continue to put people above myself, man. And to continue to be an example of everything you say, so that you are never one of these people that end up separating from your best self by trying to get likes or sell books or sign up programs or do all this stuff. So to sum it all up, continue to serve and continue to live by everything that comes out of your mouth.
Wonderful. Kinja, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me. I really appreciate it. If the listeners would like to buy your books, sign up for your course, read more about your writing, or work with you, where are the best places they can go to do those?
I would say KinjaDixon.com to just find out a little about my backstory and my history. That gives you the access to all of my books and all of my programs, from the children's book to Re-Creationism.com for the Re-Creationism book. So KinjaDixon.com. But if you want to dig deep into the life mastery process, Re-Creationism.com, where you can read the philosophy, find out your HLG. And if you have a kid under 18, you might want to get them on the Little Solar's Book of Superpowers. So go to bookofsuperpowers.com and take that journey for them. Other than that, I'm just getting started. I'm honored to be a part of the solution holistically, and I vow to continue this process for the rest of my life. And I thank you for being a tool for people to learn and explore themselves. And so I'm honestly wanting to thank you for just giving me the opportunity to share, man. And I love your vibe. You're real chill. You're relaxed, man. I like that vibe, man. You probably are like, wow, he got a lot of energy over there. And all jokes aside, man, the way you are feeling, like the way I'm sounding, this is me and my vibe, man. This is just my vibe, brother. I love it, man. So I'm seriously, man. When I go in that gym or I get in front of a crowd or whatever the case may be, I'm in my element, man, and I truly love it. I don't have to rehearse because I just get to share what I live, man. So honored, and I thank you for doing what you do as well, family.
Well, thank you. This is it's been again an absolute pleasure, and yeah, I appreciate your enthusiasm. It's absolutely fantastic, and I can tell it's not manufactured. That's definitely how you are on a daily basis. And yeah, I'm purposely trying relaxed for this show just because it puts my guests at ease to kind of be calm and collected. And I this show is about my guests. It's not about me. So I try to highlight my guests and allow them to just be present in any way they feel comfortable. So thank you for being open and honest.
And just to make sure, for anybody that may have misunderstood, and make sure I love I need that beautiful, relaxed flow. You know what I mean? So it's not a negative. It's a positive. I enjoy your vibe, man. So all is good, man. Too much of me. I may be too much for some people at sometimes, honestly, but it's all good. The key is that when I go to bed at night, I can say, just like you can say, is I was 100% authentic, and I served, and I didn't have to fake anything to make it. So that's the beautiful thing about, I believe, our journeys and what you do in your world with this opportunity to dig into guests' brains, man. So thank you, brother.
Well, thank you. Kinja, again, this has been an absolute pleasure, and I encourage all of my listeners to go and sign up for your training and go visit you at KinjaDixon.com, and I will put the links in the show notes so they can click right through. But again, thank